Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. So, can you write in the chat if you hear me and see me well? Please write in the chat if you see me and hear me well. So is everybody excited? I just wanna, so we're gonna start in like 2 minutes, just so everybody joins in. It's gonna be a relatively short one, but very, very exciting one as well. So let's just wait a couple of more minutes before we officially start. Let me put my phone at mute here. I'm trying out a new stream service here, so I'm hoping it will all go good. And there is like a 10-15 second delay between what I'm saying and the stream. So I'm actually gonna say the names of the winners and all of that goodness. It's gonna take like 10-15 seconds before the rest of you hear it. So that's gonna be like an excitement lag on my side. Let me just check out the chat. See who do we have here. So we have Molly Larson here. Of course, we have our judges as well. I want to say a big hello, a big shout out to them. We have our Mr. Jibak Bhattacharya here. Irene is here. Cap Awesome 3D. Hi, everybody. Jonathan is here. Stormtrooper. Pixel Painter. Where is Luis? Okay, I see Luis there. The one of our judges as well. So I think we can start now. Are you ready to start? I need the chat to go crazy. I need to see hearts. I need to see hands. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to thank our sponsors, the people who made this the award giving part. Let me actually start. Okay. So yeah, I want to thank all of our sponsors, and I want to start first with Space Mouse, guys from 3D Connection. Really, I can say wholeheartedly backed this year's competition with our wonderful awards. As you can see here, I have one of their Space Mouses. It's really truly a game changer for me. I'm looking forward to giving away all of these great Space Mouses, so you can also see what really for me a game changer in navigation while sculpting. So I want to give a huge shout out to them, 3D Connection, for supporting our contest, for supporting Learning ZBrush, Next one, of course, this wouldn't be a ZBrush contest without Pixologic, the creators of ZBrush, who again this year sponsored the contest with the great awards. So a huge shout out to Pixologic, and of course the software that they make, ZBrush, which is the cornerstone, the backbone of everything that we're doing here. So a huge thanks to them. The next one is Keyshot from Luxion. It's really, for me, the go-to rendering software when I'm doing my own creations. So I really love the simplicity that you have in using this software, how quickly you can set up everything. There's no mathematics behind it. You just have ready to go brilliant materials already there, environments. You can create lightnings very quickly. You don't need to be a shading artist to get really good renders of your sculpt. I love it. I always use it. And this year, just like the last, they're also sponsoring with some Keyshot educational licenses, which means a free Keyshot for 1 year. And I think that's just great. So a huge shout out to them as well. If you never worked in Keyshot, I really encourage you to check it out and give it a go. And of course, my own studio, Prime Render Studio. They're sort of like an indirect sponsor of our competitions, because right now I'm in our studio, I'm using the studio equipment and spending the studio time, giving back to the community, to our Sculpting in Zbrush Udemy course community. And having said that, I want to give a huge thanks to each and every one of my students. You are truly the sponsors of this competition. You are the sponsors of everything that's happening. Without each and every one of you, there wouldn't be Sculpting in Zbrush Contest. There wouldn't be, everything I do as far as teaching goes. So I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you for enrolling and supporting me in that manner as well. And I just want to use this opportunity to say also, if you haven't rated the course yet, I encourage you and ask you to do so. Give a few stars. That really helps me, and it really helps the course. Now that we've gone through the sponsors, I want to thank our team of judges. Oh my God, did we have a hard time? So let me just scroll through the judges. But while we're going down, I'm just going to go and remind everybody what this contest was about. It was about creating art and getting rewards, getting prizes. But again, and I can't say this enough, the biggest prize that you can really get is being a part of the contest, sculpting, learning, associating with other colleagues, sharing your work. So we do have some great prizes on top of that as well. So the theme was sea creatures. And it was really super fun to see all the works that you've done on our Facebook page and on the Discord channel as well. So that was our team, Sea Creatures. And these are the prizes. So this is what we are, here for. And these are the prizes that we have thanks to our great sponsors. So the first place will get a 3D Connection Space Mouse Enterprise, and that's just like the one I have here. And oh my God, it's just so gorgeous. It is really gorgeous. Also a full Pixologic ZBrush license. Thank you so much to Pixologic and 3D Connection. Second place, we'll get a 3D Connection Space Mouse Pro. It's much like this, doesn't have the screen, but it's still brilliant. And of course, a ZBrush 6-month subscription. Third place gets a Space Mouse wireless, which is also awesome. You don't have the shortcuts, the buttons there, but you do have the most important thing, and that's navigation. And honestly, for me, that's really, really a game changer when sculpting in ZBrush. And ZBrush Core license, so you can check out, and sculpt in ZBrush Core fully licensed. And we're having 4 honorable mentions this year. It was my desire to, give as much awards as we can. I would give an award to everybody and anybody who participated, if I could, of course. But unfortunately, I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't have millions lying around to just give away to people, which I would love to do. But thanks to Luxion and their generosity, we're giving out 4 one-year Keyshot licenses. And I really wanted to, previous years, we kind of gave these to first places, second places, and third places as well. But I wanted really to give something concrete to honorable mentions as well, so we can, give out as much awards as we can to all of you good people who participated. Now, we had over 30 submissions, and we only have 7 awarded places. So, it is going to be exciting to see who gets the awards. So these were the guidelines, and fortunately, all of you were within the guidelines and within the rules. So I thank you for taking the time to study this, so we didn't have any disappointments along the route. And of course, now we get to our judges. So, this first guy here, you already know that's me. So I was one of the judging team, but I always like to give more emphasis to our other judges. And the first one is a student of our course and the winner of the last year's Sculpting in ZBrush Contest, Luis Gutierrez. So I'm sure I butchered your last name, but they also always butcher my last name on these type of events. So why should you, have a better treatment than that? So Luis is also here in the chat. And please, Luis, give a shout out to everybody in the chat there. Really, really brilliant guy. I love, one of the things that I love most in teaching is getting a chance to meet all of you wonderful people. Luis is certainly one of them. We are collaborating. He's helping me with 3D printing, and it's really a pleasure. And I'm super happy that he was one of the judges. The next one is Mr. Jibak Bhattacharya, and we all know him, very active on our group, creating some really, really great sculpts. Also the winner of our weekly challenge. And of course, you all seen his last sculpt, which is really, really brilliant. The Spider-Man sculpt. I love it. And truly a wonderful person, a great joy of mine, and a privilege to also make his acquaintance and have the opportunity to hang out with him as well. So please, Jibak, I have seen you there. Give a warm shout out to everybody in the audience as well. So he was our third judge. And the last, but certainly not least, is Belko Popovich, a renowned director, multi-award winning director, who directed most of the shorts that's coming out of my and his studio, Prime Render Studios. And of course, he's my brother, my twin brother, in fact. But just a great person and a brilliantly accomplished author and an artist in the world of short films. So these are our judging panel, and I can tell you honestly, we really had a hard time picking from all of those great works. We had to deliberate on certain things. Like some works were so close, it was really just like a hairline. Like when you see athletics in the Olympics, and it was just like a photo finish. So for a lot of these places and a lot of awards and honorable mentions, and who gets the honorable mention, who doesn't get the honorable mention, it was truly, honestly, I'm telling you this, it was really like a photo finish. It was so close, it was just like fractions separating people. But that's how it is in life. That's how it is in art. Fractions are very important as well. Very, very important. And so before we start, and we're going to start now, we're going to start now. Before we start, I just want to re-emphasize this point. If you haven't won anything, if you didn't get an honorable mention, or you were not like the first, second, or third, honestly, 100%, you are truly all winners. Don't forget, we have over 2,000 people in our Facebook group, but only 30 of you took up this challenge and made a piece of art that you submitted. So out of 2,000 people, 30 people took up the gauntlet, and really, honestly, in my heart, you are all winners, because of that, and you really accomplished something wonderful. So let's do it. I mean, without further ado, we're gonna start. Before I say that, I am gonna. So everybody here who is in the chat, everybody who's in the chat is gonna get a comment on their work. So if you submitted a work and you're here in the chat, just drop. I'm gonna say, okay, now we're gonna give comments, and then you're just gonna drop a comment in the chat and say, hi, I'm here. I would like to get a review of my work, feedback on my work. So after the award ceremony, if you want me to give a review of your work, if you want me to give comments and criticism on your submission, stay till the end, and that's when we will do this. Okay, so we're gonna start from we're gonna start actually from the third place. Then we're gonna go to the second place. Then we're gonna go to the first place. And then we're gonna go for the honorable mentions. Okay? So the first one that I'm gonna say is gonna be the winner of the third place. And I'm gonna write this in the chat so everybody is not confused. So first, okay, so This was really a tight call. So the winner of the third place is Nikos. Congratulations, Nikos. Zachariadis. I hope, again, probably butchering that. You are the winner of the third place. So just a reminder of all the goodies that you got. So you got a 3D Connection Space Mouse Wireless and a Pixologic ZBrush Core license. And yeah, so what can I say about this? I mean, again, all the judges, myself included, were really impressed, truly impressed with your work. Really nice composition, nice render, not just the sculpt, but the whole atmosphere is there. Very original character. I loved it. And it really has like a glowing part as well. You added a video, which is always a plus. And very, very nice sculpt. I mean, I love the amount of details, really good proportions, really good sense of, you know, the overall sculpt, and totally deserves, you know, you all deserve first places, but this one really solidly, you know, executed. Excellent work. So that is our third place. Now we go to the second place. And the winner of the second place is Mr. Gabriel Veras. Second place for Mr. Gabriel Veras. Really loved this character. Such a good character. I mean, all the amount of work and the details and the coloring, the poly paint on this one, brilliant. The atmosphere as well, really loved it. So you can see all the details here, even the octopus in the back that you can't see in this render here. So well executed, such nice pose. All of the snakes really well balanced. You know, the amount of details that went into sculpting this, the anatomy that was really good. I mean, I was just blown away. With the quality of this one as well, and all of the judges as well fell in love with this work. So congratulations. And I have to say also, like, the composition of the light and shadow, you know, really complements the character in the colors and everything. Brilliant work. I can't say, you know, enough how awesome this work is. So now we come to the first place. The first place in this year's Sculpting in ZBrush Contest 2021. Oh yeah, so just want to say this is the second place. You get 3D Connection Space Mouse Pro and ZBrush 6-month subscription. So congratulations on that. And now we come to the first place. Okay, The winner of the first place is Jonathan Narvaez. Jonathan, I mean, I think there's really no surprise here, I have to say. When I saw this shark, I fell on my ass. You know, it's just, and, you know, all of the judges, Luis, G-Buck, Belko. I mean, this was truly, I have to say, really, really unanimous decision. Brilliant, brilliant work. You know, the amount of accessories and detail and everything, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, brilliant, an awesome piece. Yeah, I mean, from poly paint to the design and everything, I don't even need to say anything special. You know, I don't need to, you know, you just need to look at it and just go, oh my God, that is just fucking great, man. So you are the winner. You are the winner of this year's uh, Sculpting in ZBrush contest. And as such, you get this really great baby Space Mouse Enterprise, which is their Rolls Royce of all of their space mouses. It's brilliant. If you need, you have a review of myself on my YouTube channel of this Space Mouse Enterprise. You can have a look if you haven't already and just see all the goodness that you can do in it. And, you know, have fun exploring this great device. And of course, you get a full Pixologic ZBrush license. So those are our first three places. Congratulations to you all. Thank you for participating. Really super proud on each one of you. I cannot believe that you guys are a student of my course and that you made such tremendous progress in your ZBrush. Really brilliant. So those are the first three places, and now we get to the honorable mentions. A big clap to our, you know, first three places. So let's go to the honorable mentions. Really great work, everybody. I cannot say this enough. So the first honorable mention goes to, drum roll, Lina N. Ian, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. I mean, this character, I really like it. Really like it. It was a tough call, you know. All of the works are great, but the amount of detail that went into this guy as well, and just like the feel of the original character there, and I mean, just this whole thing, great work from you. Really deserves the honorable mention, and congratulations to you, Lina. Thank you so much for participating and creating this great work of art. So that is our, you know, first honorable mention. We have three more. So as honorable mentions, you get, you know, the badge, honorable mention, and you also get a Keyshot 10 1-year license. Okay, so our second honorable mention goes to Danilo Shapran. Danilo Shapran with his wonderful, wonderful, wonderful turtle sculpt. Really, really well done. The sculpt, the poly paint. For me, it was the poly paint that really clenched it. You know, it was so nice and clean. So nice and clean. I really liked it. And of course, this render, very well done. The character really blends with the background as well. The lightning in the background and the characters is so nicely matched, which is not always the case. It's not easy to hit, but this time you have really done it. Really, really nice work. Danilo, congratulations to you on this brilliant sculpt and being our receiver of the honorable mention. Okay. So now we get to our third honorable mention. Two more left to go. Excitement is in the air. Okay. The next honorable mention goes to Harold Lopez. Harold Lopez. Congratulations, Harold. I really like this idea that you had of blending these two things. You know, the orca, and you can see it immediately. You can just, as soon as you look at this, you understand this is a blend. You know, this is an orca blend. And I really like this idea. It felt very well executed. All the judges agreed. You know, everybody fell in love with this character. It just has like you see it as a part of some universe. You see it as out there as some IP, you know, like part of something. You want to know more about this character. You know, what does it do? Where does it go? How does it spend the day? It looks playful. It looks great. It looks finished. You know, overall in the design, and I just like it. We all loved it, and you know, I want to see it on a T-shirt. I want to see it on a T-shirt. And I want to see it like a part of some series, you know, like a TV cartoon series or something like that. So a lot of potential there. The judges really liked it. So we decided to give it the honorable mention. Congratulations. And our last, it's the fourth honorable mention. And I truly cannot overstate this. It was so hard. It was so hard. It was so close between a lot of you to get into the first top 7. A lot of works were like inches. It was like millimeters between them. It was like we had to you know, again redeliberate, and because a lot of the works had the same amount of points, so we had to see, okay, you know, what pushes this work that millimeter higher, or this one that nanometer higher. So it was really, honestly, so close, but there can only be one, and by that I mean there can only be 4. And the fourth one that wins our honorable mention is Irene Dima. Irene Dima, you didn't win this because my wife's name is also Irene, but it's always a good coincidence. Of course, what we loved about this work, And what the judges were really impressed is just the complexity of the whole thing, of the composition, and everything, all of the characters, all of the details, everything that's in there. A nice turntable render that you did certainly was a huge plus. So congratulations. The presentation of the work is really, really well done. All the different materials, the renderings, taking on, glass and all of that. Really a nice and complete work. You deserved the honorable mention 100%. And I was super happy to see that the judges felt the same. And yeah, that was our last winner, so to say, award winner, I should say. Again, I mean, I'm just itching, honestly. I think it was so close between everybody. It was just like really, really came down to details, small things, presentation, character design, some part of the sculpt that we preferred more, or, like, oh, look at that in the back, all of those really, really well sculpted tentacles and stuff like that. It just really came down to details, really came down to centimeters. I can't stress this enough. So congratulations to everybody that got an award today. You're all amazing. Congratulations to everybody that participated. Thank you so much for taking on this challenge. Thank you all. Thank you to our sponsors. Again, without them, we wouldn't have the cool awards. We would have the cool community that cannot be taken away from us by anybody other than Facebook, actually, if it just shuts us down, but we'll find another way that happens. So for sure, awards are great, but the community, the effort, what you learned, and how you're progressing, that's really what's valuable at the end of the day. I'm speaking really from my heart. I've done a lot of short films that won, fortunately, a lot of awards. And I can tell you this, award you get and you put on a shelf, and it's all nice, but it's the experience, it's the learning, it's the self-progress that is really important. Okay, so that concludes our official award ceremony. So thank you again to the winners of our contest, and I'm just gonna go and tell your names once again. Let me just go here. Where are we? Here we go. So. So the first place, Jonathan Navarez, congratulations. Second place, Gabriel Veras. Third place, Nikos Zachariadis. Fourth place, Lina, congratulations. Fifth place, Danilo Sharpan. Sixth place, Harold Lopez. Seventh place, Humpback, Whale and Mermaid, as I like to call it, by Irene Dima. Congratulations to everybody. And so if anybody wants to get a critique of their work, now is the time to write in the chat, "Hi, I'm here. Can you please give a feedback on my work?" And I will do so in the order that is in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to write down if anybody wants some critique on their submission, on their work. Just trying out some videos. playing with this. Okay, let's see. Already somebody's writing to get feedback. So here are all the works that were submitted. Really, really, really brilliant stuff. Oh my God, so many good works. Oh my God. I mean, just remembering some of these, such good works. Okay, let's see. Okay, Simpson NG. Alrighty. So this is our gorilla in a swim ring. I have to say, I really, really liked your work. I really liked it. It was one of the top contenders. I have to tell you, it was one of the top contenders. Congratulations on the work. It was so close. It was so close. I'm telling you, it was so close. So what can I tell you? I mean, I really like your design. I really like this idea. I like the poly paint and everything. It was really, really good. You know, it's just so it's one of those works that are just hard to critique because it all fits together really nicely, and in a you know, another dimension, it's certainly you know, an award winner. This time it just so happened, uh, again, just about fractions, and yeah, it's so nice, so nice. I honestly, without getting into the nitty gritty of it, like to take this work to the next level, it would just require a bit more detailed approach to the surface of the creature itself. Okay, so let me just go back because I like this one. It really shows the sculpt. So it's just about kind of like developing the scales so it doesn't feel so uniform across the character. You have the direction, but it just kind of lacks a little bit of that, you know, sense of different panels and different types of, you know, I don't want to say scales, but just like different types of surfacing, so to say, to really, really help the forms stand out. Okay, I can see that you have done that here, which is really good. Just kind of like the overall feel of it. But honestly, and maybe like this eyelid area, you know, which needs a bit more sculpting, needs a bit more work, you know, like this area here. But other than that, I really, you know, it's just nice. I love it, you know, I love it. It's just about details. And of course, if I can just say one thing, let me just go to the render. Like this background that you have here, this absolute white, this really, really white is stronger than the darkness of your sculpt. So the composition wise, it becomes a little bit hard, uncomfortable to watch because this white over here is really overpowering the sculpt. and I want to focus on the sculpt, but the whiteness, the background is just attacking me, you know. So that's one thing, that's clearly something that I can, say, oh, immediately, this is something that you should think about. In composition, in the backgrounds, it should, especially when you have like such a clear thing that you want people to look at, you want to have everything drawing your attention to that point. You don't want things to overpower your sculpt. Okay, so let's see who's next. Okay, let me see here. What's your name? Please, when you're asking for feedback, you need to write the name of your work, and preferably, but the name you have on Facebook, so I can search it more easily. Okay. Because when I search for your name, Abdul El Modavar, I can't find you. Okay, maybe I can find you. No, I can't find you here. So please rewrite it again, and I'm gonna go to the next one. Danilo, okay, let me. Okay, so with the turtle, I mean, this turtle is great. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna go to some other. I love the sculpt. It's really, really nice. One thing, I would have to see the turtles, but like these cuts here that you have, these cuts here could feel a little bit more organic, a little bit less like they are cut on a solid thing. So I would love to have a little bit more like a feeling that this could, that there's, like a bit more organic shape to them, a bit more organic feel, but maybe that's just how these turtles have that outer shell here. But for me, it kind of feels like really obvious that you did a knife tool to get that groove. So I would love to kind of get a bit more feeling. Maybe some of them have a bit more. Do you have it here? Okay, so ignore this. I'm just gonna show you what I mean here super quickly. Divide. Label that. So not just have like a panel that goes like this. Maybe go a little bit like this. So you kind of get this idea. And then take the edge here, just add a little bit of something to those edges so they don't feel so clean. They feel a little bit more organic, just a little bit quickly. So I'm just gonna, just a little bit of something to add to this edge. So that's what I wanted to give as a feedback to that. And everything is just brilliant. Yeah, I love this composition and render as well. Really, really nicely done. So moving on. Let's see who else is there. Piboix. Okay, let's. Ah, there you go. Okay, so it's this one here. Hey, let me tell you, it was one of my favorites as well. It was one of my favorites as well. Really liked it. Really liked it. I love the fact that you did this whole animation. Uh, this green goo is maybe a little bit like an issue. It kind of has like conceptual, I have conceptual issues with it because it's dripping, but it's underwater. And it's really like, I understand that it's some toxic kind of gooey thing, but it's, really strong visually, and but it lacks, it's just like a flat color, and it's not complementing it visually so much. And of course, the fact that it's kind of dripping underwater, which makes me think, is it underwater? It's not underwater, and stuff like that. Another thing that I have here, like you can really see it in this part of the animation. You can see the nice colors that you have here uh, on this clamp, but doesn't come so much into, you can't see it. When I look at this frame, it's a little bit hard to see what's in front, what's in the back, and the composition. Let me just go, okay, here. And now you have this guy coming up, which is really, I mean, it's cool. It's a good idea. I like it. Of course, the challenge here is that you took on a lot of materials, a lot of scene elements and stuff like that. So it takes a lot of skill and a lot of time to really bring all of these elements to look equally good. Like these teeth, the material is a little bit too shiny for teeth. It's a little bit too reflectivey, so to say. It's hard to gauge what the material is. So, it's hard to kind of understand that part. And like some of these things, barnacles and stuff like that, if you used a different color on them, they would have popped a bit more, and they would have added a little bit more, because you have a lot of details, but they're obscured. They're really hard to see. They're really hard to appreciate all of the hard work that went in there, you know. So yeah, and also like the shell is black, and now you could have used this opportunity to make the ground a bit more lighter, like a bit more sandy, which would, kind of make this shell pop a bit more. But here you have the same kind of blobby thing down that it's here, and it's making it really hard to kind of focus on your hero, on the hero of the image. So yeah, and of course, a lot of elements need to really come well together for these complex shots to really, really work. So it was a huge challenge that you took on, and congratulations on that. Definitely. For example, on this shot as well, this background here is stronger than the main character that's in the foreground. And you never want to have that, because now my eye is going towards the light. I want to see what's in the light, but there's nothing there. And I'm kind of struggling where I need to look. And that's always an issue. And that's the more complex the composition is, and the scene and all the elements, the harder it is to get this right. And you have so many like different materials and surfaces here, and really to balance them out, it's super hard, super hard. So again, as you can see, the teeth, they feel like they're made out of gold, and I'm wondering why are they made out of gold and stuff like that. So it kind of, I need to know how this clam, how this shell was created, what's her history and stuff like that. And I need to see this from your design. Yeah. So, I mean, congratulations. A really, really complex piece. I liked it a lot. But of course, always room for improvements, definitely. And also, I can say this like this feels very heavy. This feels very heavy and strong, but this here, feels very weak, and it's kind of like character wise you can really kill it easily because that is super easy to kill. It feels gooey and very easily be cuttable. And then also it is supposed to support this very heavy clan, and there's just like a little bit of clash there as well. So moving on to next one. Nahu, well, let me just go here. Oh, oh my God. I love this one. Now, well, I just loved it. It was one of those that it was just like millimeters. Honestly, it was millimeters. Now, I can tell you this, if you had this 360 turntable rendered in time to submit it for the competition, it would have landed you for sure, in the honorable mentions for sure, But it was just, again, it was like millimeters between all the honorable mentions. It was like just like a millimeter behind it. So let me just see the whole character here. Okay, there it is. So you unfortunately you just had like this one render, and it was just about millimeters. Again, I love your character, I love everything about it. It's a really nice sculpt, very well done, good proportions, good sense of detail. Everything is there. If you wanted to take it a step further, I would just go into a little bit more detail in some of these poly paints and stuff like that. Just like the upper part of the tentacle and the lower part should be a little bit more different. Usually it's a bit brighter, the upper side is a bit darker, the bottom part, kind of the tentacles is a little bit uh, brighter, and stuff like that. Like this rock type of material, it's kind of hard to gauge that it's a rock. It could be something else. I can see from the sculpting that it's rock, but the material and the poly paint clash a little bit. And then of course the wheel here, you're wondering how it ended up in the rock. Is it just like stuck in there? Why is it stuck in there, and stuff like that? Taking it a bit step further, you could take this wheel and add some damage to it because it's underwater, just chop at it and stuff like that. Just see how wood reacts to water, and sculpt that in as well. But of course, we had our deadlines, and you had to do all of this, which is really a lot of sculpting, a lot of work. And I honestly, it was a millimeter. It was really like a nanometer. And just the fact that you had one render is already kind of like was something that was working against you. And if you had a turntable, maybe it would have been a different outcome. I don't know, but part of the contest, a huge part of the contest, is working within the deadline. So that was very important as well. A brilliant work. So let's see who else is here. Do we have anybody else? Pixel Painter. What is your Pixel Painter? Let me just see. Pixel Painter, Pixel Painter, Pixel Painter. Where are you, Pixel Painter? Fourth place. Oh, that's okay. Nicholas Grohl. Let's go with the picture painter first, and then we're gonna go with you, Ian. Okay. Where are we? Where's the search? Go back. There you are. Nicholas Grohl. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I keep saying this, but we had some deliberations and you were one of my favorites. So I have to blame the others on this one. I really have to blame the others on this one. Okay. So what I liked about this sculpt is kind of like the emotion that it has. It has the story and the emotion, and I really like that. I really dig that. I have to say, really well done. The biggest issue that I have is just how you decided to sculpt these wrinkles. You know, it feels just like a knife cut. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel organic, you know, at all. It feels like it's knife cut. So that was the first thing that I would say. But again, I have to say it was one of my favorites, you know, it was one of my favorites. I really liked it. So that was kind of like the first thing. The second thing is, so the first thing is like this organic type of stuff. So I'm just gonna show you here, just like quickly. So whenever you're creating organic stuff, you don't want to just go like this, because this is not organic. This is like a cut. You want to start thinking about how this fold was made. Like this fold is made due to fat, or is it made because of muscles, or is it made, you know, like, is it there because it's always bent like that, or is it there because a lot of time is bent, and then you kind of get like these pores, and you get like these wrinkles and stuff. So you need to think about how something was created. If it's like something that's made from folding, it should feel like a fold. It shouldn't feel like a cut. It shouldn't feel like a cut. There's a huge difference between these two. Okay, so that's just something. If you just implemented this, it would go a long way. Okay, and another cool thing that I like to do when I'm doing like cuts and stuff like that, you know, you can just create this and then decide to take one side and smooth it out. So let me just show you that. Let me just show you what I think about that. And just smooth it out. Okay, and go to a lower like this, then go back here and smooth it out. Okay, so you're just getting like one side of it, and that way, so now I can maybe inflate this a little bit more, and I can get this type of fold. So you can get like two bulges pressing together, or you can just like get like one bulge going like this. If you just go and smooth the other side of your damn standard stroke. Okay, and now if you want to get like something that's really irregular, you can, you know, like get this inflate brush to a higher value here and just go like this, and you're gonna get something like that, which is super kind of like organic. So these are all different approaches that you can have to organic folds. And that was kind of like the biggest thing that I was missing there. It's just the organic feel. It feels very much like cuts. Another thing is maybe a little bit like this surface here is just a little bit too shiny. It feels like he was covered with varnish or something like that. And that together with these cuts here, they really take away from the organic kind of feel. And I mean, it's very hard to get subsurface scattering. It's something that, you know, like kind of like the next level of material definition, but it's not so hard. Especially, I think you used Keyshot, and Keyshot has this. I think it's called transparency or something like that. You can check it out. It has this node for subsurface scattering, which is really paramount when you're rendering such an thing like an octopus that really has light passing through these tentacles and creating that subsurface scattering effect. Let me just see if I can just like see quickly, super quickly, show you what's, I mean, if you don't know what subsurface scattering is, it's just like the light that passes through the other side. And that really gives it kind of like that organic feel that was really missing there. Yeah, it's this. It's basically this. So you don't need to go so far with it, but you know, you know, that would have helped a lot. So whenever you're doing organic things that don't have like a hard shell or really hard skin, subsurface scattering should be there. So hopefully that was helpful. Other than that, I really liked your emotion. It was one of the works that really conveyed the emotion most to me. It was like emotionally most impactful work that we had. So congratulations on that. Yeah, translucency. Yeah. So let's see who else we have here. The fourth place winner. Let's go to you. So, Ian, it was you, wasn't it? We had so many good works. So let me just have a quick break, just a second here. Oh, so, Ian. Okay, so let's. The first thing that I can say about this, it's in the poly paint. What I would have liked to have seen is more of what was here. You can see the difference between the flesh parts and the parts that are not fleshy. Okay. So in your render, you don't really see that. It kind of, everything feels like it's made out of the same material. So you're losing that what you have here. You know, I can see that this is fleshy and this is more like skin. This is really fleshy, and you know, so that was what was missing here, for sure. Like treating these surfaces differently in poly paint, but also in sculpting. Now, as far as your compositions in these renders, they're taking a little bit away from the focus. Like in this render here, it's super hard. Let me just go back here. It's really hard to find something that has stronger values. Like everything has similar values. So that is something that you should work on, definitely. Like trying to get values in compositions in your render, like different values. You can search for this a bit online, so I don't, you know, ramble on. Like here, I like this render the best because I can see the differences in colors and stuff like that. I can see what you were getting at. But when you come to the render, it loses. And generally, when I see your renders, they're very flat. You know, if I was to, it helps if you turn your image into a black and white image and in Photoshop and just go with, so let me just maybe even try to do that. I'm just gonna print screen this. And I'm gonna go here. Actually, let me just go to new from clipboard. So I just kind of get to that over here. Okay, there we go. So let me just try this out. Desaturate. Okay, and I'm just gonna go with the picker over here. And I'm just gonna pick like different values. So you see it's very low. It's very low value. It's very low values. Very, very, very low values. Even the brightest parts have very, very low values. You can see here. So when I go to like really bright, you can see how much of the value spectrum you're not using. Like this is the light and this is the dark, and you're mainly stuck just like in this area here. And it makes it hard for people to focus on things. So that's like the biggest thing that I would say in your sculpt and your renders. Okay, so let's move on. Third place. Where are you? No, that was our second place. Where's the third? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh my God. What to tell you? Okay, so I really, really like this render. It's great. It's what this render here is the winner. You know, it was the thing that, it was the thing that clenched your submission, what you submitted. I really, really liked it. Like this here, not so much. And the reason for that is that you have a lot of these bright spots and, you know, a lot of these bright spots that makes it really hard for me to read the form. Here, when you look at this render, you don't have these bright spots. It's very, very nice. It's easy to watch, easy to see the details. The composition is really good because you're focusing on the head, on the mouth. This is going back. So just give me a second. I need to answer this. It's my wife, and you should never hang up on your wife. Just a second. Evo još možda ću 15 minuta i onda ću krenuti. Ok, ciao. Okay, so blah blah blah. So yeah, as I was saying, like this was the perfect render. You have this blurred in the background, which really is consistent with dark water, and so nice. Such nice composition drawing us here. Like on the other renders, you have issues with all these bright spots. Like here as well, it's really hard to kind of just find a focus. You have that really, really nice render still there, the blurring of the background. But like all of these, I guess you wanted all the skin details to come out, but the overall feel of the render paid the price for that. That's one thing. Another thing is this eye here. when you zoomed it in like this, I could really like see I wasn't so happy with the sculpt of the eye. It feels more like a whole. This should feel more fleshy than this outer part. Just because it's like a fleshy part of the eye, you need it to be closed and open, and it interacts with the eyeball and stuff like that. So you cannot have like hard skin. You need to have more soft tissue, and it needs to feel like it's something that has like an eyelid structure also that the eye can close. So it didn't feel like that. It felt a little bit strange. So I wasn't so happy with that, and that is very, very clearly visible in this render. Okay, and eye is something that is a place where you connect with the character, and it's a place where the viewer goes to. So it needs to be really, really well. So you should invest more time in sculpting and poly painting the eye. And that's basically it. That's what I could say. Also, like this render, I'm not crazy about. I like this render a lot more. This feels a little bit weird. The light doesn't feel connected to the background. It feels like there's a huge yellow reflecting light that's just shining really hard on it, but you cannot see it anywhere else in the water. So it feels very unnatural. It doesn't feel connected. But this one I love, really showing all the details here very, very nicely. And of course, the turntable as well. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So I think that's everybody. If I haven't commented on anybody that asked for a comment, please write it now. So I'm gonna wait like a minute or two just to see if I missed anybody. So now's your chance. Otherwise, I'm gonna start to wrap our stream up. Again, thank you so much. Thank you all, who stayed all the way towards the end. And thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting the course, and for your participation in the contest. It was really, really nice. And I will write on the Facebook right now for all the winners to contact me on my Irene. Where's Irene? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jibek. Okay. Yeah, Irene. Let's go with Irene. Okay, so Irene also, I mean, a very complicated composition, a very complicated scene, a lot of different materials, really a big challenge to make all of these materials on the same level of quality as your sculpt. So, like in this image, a lot of the materials are not quite there yet. Also, the brightest spot in your image is the sand, which is the most uninteresting part of your sculpt. So you're actually drawing the viewer to the most uninteresting part of the sculpt, which should always be avoided. So you always want to have your light and shadow, like Rembrandt was the master of light and shadow, and it was the most important thing for him. So oftentimes we forget how important light and shadow is. We're just thinking about our sculpt, but our composition and our render dies and lives in the light and shadow. That's what makes it or breaks it. That's how we see objects, with light reflecting on that. So as a viewer, I'm always going towards those spots that are bright, those spots that are, composition wise, drawing the viewer there. So you never want to have a composition that draws you, the viewer, somewhere, and the light that draws it somewhere else. It just makes for a very uncomfortable watching. Subconsciously, people will not like that. So yeah, that's my biggest issue with this. Tem Altibas, I will also give you feedback as well. Yeah, no problem. I've seen it. So that's my issue here. Now you're solving that a little bit here, but also, again, I'm being drawn to this area here, which is really, it doesn't have anything. So that's my issue with that. There should be more light on this contact here. Like you have an interaction of your mermaid with your character, but it's really the composition doesn't draw you there. The light doesn't tell you that story. The light and the composition, they tell a different story from the sculpt. Okay, so that's my biggest issue there. Other than that, just kind of working a little bit more on these materials, like the humpback whale skin, doesn't feel, you can push it further. And also, like, this glass is really thick. It's super thick. It could be a little bit thinner. And one more thing that I really wanted to say. What was it? Oh yeah. Like the light here doesn't connect with the background as well. You have these yellows and these purples, but the background doesn't feel connected to this light scheme. Somehow it feels, I'm wondering, where is this strong light coming from? Okay, so that's something that you need to work on as well. So it's generally just like mostly lighting and composition, like light and shadow. Okay, so Tam. Let's go to you. That is... Oh yeah. So I really liked this one. Really liked it. Not so much this render. This render I didn't like. So let me tell you why. This whole concept, this whole idea is really good. And this guy here is crazy good. I mean, again, it was just like millimeters for you as well. To get into the top 7, it was millimeters. Believe me, it was millimeters. This sculpt here is so well done. It's so good. I have 0 comments, like 0 comments on your sculpt here. I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything about it. Everything about it. But the final product, the final render is so confusing. I don't know what I'm watching at. It's very hard to find a point of focus. It's very hard. These spots are super bright. Everything is super bright, but I'm feeling you want me to watch over here. But these spots here are also very bright. It's very hard to see that this is in front of this. It's very hard to understand that. I don't know, I have no idea. It's very hard to understand the composition and everything. And a lot of the details that you have are gone in this render. They're very hard to understand and to see. So that was the biggest problem I had with this. I wish the render was better. If the render was as half as good as this sculpt, oh my God, that would have been, something. But this sculpt is just brilliant. I love it. I want to 3D print it. I want to, it's just so good. Congratulations on this sculpt, man. So good. And for me, it definitely deserved the spot in the top 7. Even though your render was really poor, in my, it's just kind of like my opinion, of course. Still, the sculpt was so good, but maybe the other judges were, it threw them off. That's my thinking. Might be wrong. I didn't press anybody, or why didn't you give this work? Why isn't this better than that? It was just like everybody gave their honest opinion, and the results were there. So yeah, and of course, I mean, so many other people, they had more complex environments and stuff like that. So that was something also that set them apart. But other than that, just like this sculpt that you did is perfect. There you go. And that's gonna be that, I think, for this stream. Thank you. So, oh, I see also somebody, Harold. Let's have a look at you, but my voice is starting to run out. Harold, okay. Oh, so this here, what can I tell about this one? I really liked it. I liked it a lot. My only issue with it is this one was the money shot. This one was the money shot. When I saw this, I was like, oh, like previously here, it's also very hard and confusing to understand the forms, because it is hard. You have the blacks and the whites, which are very strong lines, as strong as your sculpting lines. So it's very, very challenging. It was always a very big challenge that you put in front of yourself with this render to make a composition where I can understand the sculpting forms, and the lines of the poly paint are not fighting with the sculpting silhouette. And here you can see the character silhouette is very, very hard to read. Very hard. This can be the back, but it doesn't have to be the back. It can be like the line like this one, or, it's very hard from this render to read the silhouette of your character. Very hard. And that was, for me, a deal breaker. I was like, eh. But then I went further and I've seen this, and I was like, oh my God, look at this sculpt. It's really, really good. Super feminine, really well executed, nice lines. And that's something that I didn't get from your render at all. It was very hard to read the form. So that's my biggest critique there. And also maybe this tail, the tail could have been a bit thinner, because the tail shouldn't be as thick as the legs. It feels almost like a third leg. And that's not very flattering because this is a very female kind of like very elegant form. And this, for me, this tail here is too thick. So that you could have worked on. Just that little thing, and the design would have been perfect. And I love the playfulness of this form. So nice, so nice. Really poetic. Really, really good. And yeah. So, and I just want to say I love this yellow contrast here. It's really good. I love it when something so bold works. I really like that. You know, because you have such clear lines and everything. In here, in the outside part, so you can have something as strong as the yellow. And you also have the whites, which are super powerful. So this background can be stronger and still not overpower the character. It's just like this. I can even see clearer, much clearer, the form here. So I like this yellow one a lot better than this one. Like this one is really, really weird. And it was kind of like the first image. So that's that. And I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for participating. And that's gonna be it. I'm gonna close this stream now, and we can continue discussing on our Facebook page and our Discord channel. You know, you can drop your comments on it, on your, you know, feelings about the winners and stuff like that. But don't forget, it's all subjective, very much our own personal interpretation and preferences. This is not like the absolute judgment on your work. It is just what the judges, the four of us, liked, and more than something else. And that's all that it boils down to. Okay, so thank you all. This is Meliwai Popovich.